The Year of the Tiger. The third archetype of the Year of the Tiger demonstrates the ability to emerge and act swiftly in the face of demanding situations. As the antithesis of the former ox sign, the tiger's reaction to the former consolidating influence is to expand and integrate in all areas of perception and communication, which contribute to a more unique method of lifestyle. For this reason, people born in the Year of the Tiger are said to be hard to hold down when it comes to getting their way, since they have a tremendous love for freedom and a keen mental agility with which they courageously pursue their lives with. The fierce independence of tiger people can either be a blessing or a curse, as they can be somewhat reckless in their approach to life and also in regards to their opinions and judgments they have of others. For this reason, it may often simply be that the tiger needs to slow down in its excited and speedy course towards the future unfoldment of events. They have a select number of tasks at hand, and often others are seen as being in the way. In some cases, however, it may be a good idea to get out of the way, as the tiger revels in dangerous forms of sports and entertainment, which can, in many cases, take the form of life-risking feats of bravery. The competitive and outspoken nature of the tiger causes him to be involved with something that makes a big difference in the world. This may be in the form of philanthropic causes which protect children or animals and all beings that cannot defend themselves. As an advocate for the downtrodden and the principal supporter of rightful free speech, he is a revolutionary against the forces that suppress the reasonable growth and expression of the masses. Certainly, in the end, it is his freedom that he supports the most. To get along with the tiger, one must understand his sense of honor and equality, since their somewhat ferocious judgments of others may be the cause of a temporary rejection by them. For this matter, be prepared in advancing your cause in the rare moments of your arrival with them, as they only respect those who understand the true scarcity of life and justice. The Year of the Cat and/or the Rabbit. The fourth archetype of the Year of the Cat or the Rabbit demonstrates the ability to conceal one's intentions, cat, while being in the company of others. Rabbit. The fourth Chinese year sign is considered dual by many who pick up on the elusive yet deliberate nature of the people born during these year times that are represented by these two archetypes. What is usually noticed most readily is an easygoing, mild-mannered behavior which seems to contribute to an overall socially supportive situation. Often taking the line of least resistance in a conversation, these people are capable of attaining and sustaining a great deal of popularity among a large circle of friends or other colleagues. The manner in which they seek out the company of others is reassurance to the social inclinations of this sign, which often evaluates itself based on how many different people they speak with in a given day, although in certain cases it is the social company who is deliberately seeking them out for personal services and support. Yet even among the company of people, this sign often cannot resist the temptation to retain a mind and intention all its own. This is where the cat archetype tends to kick in, symbolizing the subtle objectives that often may be at hand with these people. Beneath the surface of the conversation, the cat often cannot help but exploring the complexities of the other person's patterns of thought, reassuring himself the ability to come out on top of the conversation with you if the matter at hand is important enough to him. For this matter, this person may not always volunteer his opinion on an immediate basis, waiting instead to let the conversation wander until he has garnered enough clout to bring the matter into a final conclusion. For that matter, though, he is usually a good and objective conversationalist who is able to avoid conflictual arguments that are based purely on personal opinions and engendered cultural perspectives. He is therefore usually a man of his own intellectual making. Despite some good amount of judgment that the cat may possess, there nonetheless remains a great deal of personal sensitivity that must be accounted for, because even though he may be a master at concealing his feelings, he is nonetheless often easily offended and can even read unintended meanings into the statements of others. While nursing the imagined offenses encountered in a given situation, the cat may be planning in the meantime a surprise attack, which could come about at any moment with a forcefulness that exceeds the preliminary image of the peacemaker and the social pillar in the community. This is especially true of the women who are born under the years of this Chinese archetype. The Year of the Dragon. The fifth archetype of the Year of the Dragon demonstrates the ability to take the head command of a social situation, much in the same way that the tail and body of the dragon consistently follows the direction of the commanding head. Here in this archetype, words are seen as being uttered in the form of fire from the mythological dragon's maw. Because of this, the natives born under this sign of the astrological dragon year are said to breathe fire. For whatever reasons, the mystery and mystique of the dragon personality is one of domination and eventual control of most any situation he might find himself in, whether it is in a discussion of politics or philosophy, or in a pioneering business enterprise where great feats of purpose and skill are to be demonstrated while new foundations are being implemented for any financial triumphs that are to be had. The life cycles for most of the individuals born under this year's archetype puts them at a moment where they feel almost obligated towards the role of leadership, and following that notion they continue to become all the more passionate about the prospect of reaching the ultimate goal of hegemony over the prevailing organization where their interest had initially guided them towards. Despite this natural inclination towards taking the hand of control in a given situation, the human dragon is nonetheless human and is known for various demonstrations of overt efforts to take over and opportune domination that indeed mark him as ambitious, if not at times to a fault. This aspect can make him sometimes appear arrogant in his conclusions and opinions of others, and their personal contributions to a given situation, simply because his mind is often only focused on winning. Unfortunately, in many cases, this arrogance is also accompanied by a rather sharp tongue, which has been known to exasperate others with extraordinary jaw-dropping statements and condescending remarks that are to be heard only once in a lifetime. Moreover, because he is skillful at getting his ideas across, he may nonetheless be less inclined to be the listener in the situation, although this may be a part of the overall effort to get his strong ideas and opinions heard over and above what he considers to be a challenging mental environment in the first place. All is fair in love and war might be his motto, and for that matter, some of his spontaneous actions can be just as abrasive as his tongue-tipped words go from time to time, when the situation gets a little haywire. As the initial analogy had provided, the dragon's head is the captain or leader of the rest of the dragon's body, and which in following the dragon's head resembles the group or camp that the dragon native leads. That is to say that when these people take belief in something or decide to support someone or a particular cause, you can be sure that their commitment will be entirely devoted to that cause only, never wavering over towards the purpose of the other camp of the opposition. For that matter, loyalty is one of the key aspects of this year's archetype. The dragon specifically knows who his true friends are and supporters are, and will be intolerant of any gossip that goes against the grain of his camp or circle. The concept of best friends continues to dominate the scene well into the later ages of adulthood, and for that matter he observes the rules of good and decent comradeship, just as surely as he would hope others would do as well. The Year of the Serpent. The archetype of the Year of the Serpent demonstrates the ability to adjust and maneuver one's self through the diffusion of many diverse environments. As the administrator of his own habitat, the Chinese serpent thrives on careful and calculated planning, which is designed to bring about the greatest result while putting forth the least amount of effort. Principally, the serpent is aloof in attitude, presenting an image and approach that has a predilection and gauge for certain experiences, those which are tried and true and directed towards the outcome of the desired result. Materialistic might define the serpent's main objective, and in order to attain that objective, conventional wisdom and knowledge are exhibited at the expense of all others. It is with the conventional wisdom of the status quo, often found at universities and fraternities, which can grant recognition and privilege separate and apart from the majority of the masses, that the serpent socially insulates itself with. Like its body, the serpent can be narrow-minded. In matters of business, they can be indeed shrewd. Knowing to make deals only when the time is right and then striking like lightning, they pull away from the table as the winners of a one-time only deal. For that matter, any undertaking with them should be done with a degree of caution, as many serpent creatures can be a treacherous sort that will not think twice about swindling others to save its own skins or for improving its own financial position. Much of the serpent's behavior may be derived from a great fear of failure in the realm of finances, which is the only method that could ever guarantee the extravagant lifestyles that appear so attractive to him. Secrecy is as much a necessity as breathing in the pragmatic skill base of the serpent. However, because our serpent is human, there are indeed variations to the personalities who are born within this year. On the surface, the personality displays a great deal of carefree charm, coolness, and above all, elegance. Highly cerebral in character, his calculating mentality is desirable to solve many tasks of a mathematical and puzzling nature. Moreover, many enjoy him for his simple, carefree approach to socializing that can be inclusive of many kinds of people regardless of their profession and interests. Often an excellent salesman who understands his client's needs and weaknesses, the serpent can put together a deal that will suit both parties. He has a remarkable tenacity and resoluteness that will keep him hard fastened to the goal at hand, which, if not self-serving, may also serve a group or whole sales team in their pursuit of prosperity. In certain matters, because of his self-taught experiences, he can be eager to teach so that others may know the method of correct outcomes just as he had once also learned them. A desire to attain and possess the finer things in life can be a source of discipline and virtue for the serpent, just so long as the temptation to manipulate through quick money-making schemes such as gambling are forsaken. The Year of the Horse. The archetype of the Year of the Horse demonstrates the ability to quicken momentum and physical endurance in the wake of emotional stimulation and fervor. Above all, the high energy of the horse archetype needs open outlets for its correct expression, lest we, just as in the case of the actual horse animal, witness digressive bouts of expression at being unnecessarily detained against its will. For that matter, people born within this year need a great deal of time and freedom to express their ideals and attain their goals, as their objective usually supersedes the norm when finally completed. Like the preceding sign of the serpent, the horse is also desirable of the finer things in life, enjoying a fine wardrobe of unusual and stylish clothes that are sure to make the horse stand out among the crowd. Though materialistic to a degree, the energies of the horse are more geared towards expressing their personal image in an outgoing and artistic sense. Because of this artistic inclination, they are usually high-spirited in nature, preferring to keep the emotional momentum up around them and setting the stage for a positive spotlight performance. Of course, this does not mean that a stage or a spotlight is always available for them, and finding these essential tools can be a source of aggravation for them. If the environmental resources of the horse become too stagnated, there can come a time when the horse habitat can appear congested to him, creating the likelihood that the horse may end up bucking the system if it cannot get its own way. For that matter, it is known and has been said that if a horse does not agree with his employer, that he simply will ignore the orders of his boss and, suiting his own needs, will do what he feels is right to amend the situation. While at times appearing inconsiderate to others, with this kind of independence, he nonetheless is capable of taking action without worrying too much what others might think about him. Furthermore, while he enjoys the company of others, it is also in these social circles where he can once again find his aggressive tendencies coming to the fore if there is not a great deal of freedom and fair play there to be found, both for the advantage of himself and others as well. Sensing injustice of any sort can exasperate the horse, at which time he can make his demands for impartiality heard with an uproar that can exceed the tolerable. Honesty and fair dealings are essential to the horse if he is to function in his environment, and in return he would no doubt give nothing less than the same equality that is expected. The horse is happiest when he has the time to accomplish something unique, and he feels that he is to some degree deserving of any amount of time and resources that are needed in order to arrive enthusiastically at the destination that he sees ahead. Their nonconformist streak allows them to uncover details and information through the use of intuition that leads to an emotional resurgence of personality and being. Such dependence on ecstatic emotional states, however, leaves the horse at times falling head over heels in love with members of the opposite sex that it doesn't even know.